Hey, what's going on, y'all? So I had some friends of mine come up to me, recently, and they asked me, they were like, hey, what's the difference between a simp and a player? And I got to thinking about it, and I thought to myself, and the more I thought to myself, I said, you know what? I said, now seems like the perfect time to drop a video. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm dropping a video so I don't have to repeat myself. All right? So before we get things started, let me make one thing perfectly clear, all right? I am not a dating coach. Let that sink in. I am not a dating coach. I've never been a dating coach, and I have no desire to be a dating coach. All right, so if you have any dating or relationship type questions, you need to YouTube other dating coaches' channels and look at their coaching and deal with them. All right, that's not my lane. Okay, think of me as a sympologist. All right, like I deal with, or I study everything that deals with the topic of simping. All right, because like I said before, I came from simp land. All right, I used to be a hardcore simp, so I know a thing or three about simping. All right, so let's get into it. So in today's society, we do a lot of labeling, right? We label this group, we label that group, we label this person, we label people, right? And we either don't really pay attention to, like, or we don't look up what the word means, or we don't really think about what that word means to us, right? Like, and it's real simple for a word to sound like an emotion or a sound, or to sound a certain way, and we use it because it sounds cool, right? So for example, if you a dude, and if you were out in the streets or whatever, and someone runs up to you and they're like, hey, what's up, player? Hey, I see you, player. Hey, go ahead, player. Like, that sounds cool. You know what I mean? But if someone were to run up to you and call you a simp, a lot of y'all be ready to fight. But by the end of this video, you're gonna see that, it's really not that cool to be called a player, you know? So let's go ahead and get into it. All right. So player versus simp. All right. Let's get into it. So what are some similarities between the two? All right. Or what is the similarity? Because there's only one glaring similarity between the two, right? And the one similarity is both do things with the intent on either gaining or keeping the interest of a chick. Real simple, right? All right, let's get into the differences. So, difference number one, players get the game while simps have no knowledge of the game. In other words, players have little to advanced knowledge of the game, while simps have little to no knowledge of the game. All right? Difference number two, players know exactly what they want from the chick, where simps have unrealistic expectations from the chick, or they don't even know exactly what they want from the chick. All right? Let's look at some examples of this, right? So, y'all remember, like, back in the 80s and 90s cartoons when, you had some geek or some underdog in the village or whatever, and he wanted this chick to fall in love with him, right? So he got in contact with some fairy godmother, and she whipped up some potion or some stew, or made some fairy dust powder or whatever, and then she went to the chick and sprinkled it on the chick, and then all of a sudden the chick had birds and hearts circling around her head, and then she was following the dude around. That's what simps essentially want, right? Or better yet, you remember the movie Coming to America in the beginning when Prince Hakeem was about to get married to the chick that he didn't want to get married to, and she was like, "Whatever you like, whatever you like." Well, simps want to do random shit to get the chick they like to be like, "Whatever you like." Right? So, all right, let's look at some analogies between the two, right? To bring some more clarity onto the subject matter, okay? Think of a simp as a blind troubleshooter, all right? So imagine a simp, sitting down at your computer, and before he even sits down at your computer, he doesn't even know what he wants the computer to do. he gonna figure it out as he goes along, right? He has no clear cut intention on what he wants this computer to do for him, right? So the simp will sit down at the computer, right? The computer screen will be off. He'll start clicking on stuff. He'll click on the keyboard, nothing. He'll click on the mouse, nothing. He'll even bang on the computer to see if it'll turn on, nothing. All he knows is he wants this computer to turn on, but he doesn't know what he wants to do with it when this computer turns on. He's just doing stuff, all right? That's the simp. Now, imagine a player, right? So imagine a player sitting down at your computer, and before he sits down at the computer, he knows exactly what he wants the computer to do for him, right? He sits down, he says, you know what? All I want to do is I want to be able to check my email, and I want to print this one message from my email, and that's it. So the player will sit down at the computer, right? He'll see that the computer is off. Okay, cool. No LED is on. Okay, cool. No power. He'll get down. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, the computer wasn't plugged in. He'll plug the computer in. The computer will come on. Oh, shit. Blue screen of death. Damn, okay. Let me go ahead and get to my BIOS, right? So he'll go into the BIOS, and then from the BIOS, he'll boot the OS from the hard drive or whatever, OS pops up. Windows comes on. Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and go to Firefox. He clicks on Firefox, goes to Gmail, goes to his account, boom, puts in all the passwords and stuff. Okay, cool. Here's my email I want to print out. Print, done. He leaves, right? That's the player, all right? So think of the simp as a blind troubleshooter where the player is an advanced troubleshooter, all right? Let's look at some personal examples from my life, okay? So, in my simp days, like there was this chick that I liked, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted from her, but I was amazed by her beauty, and I'm like, man, I want this chick to be like whatever you like, right? So, so what I did was, I remember like I got her number, and then I was like, yes, I got her number. Okay, now what? Okay, boom. I called her phone, talked to her on the phone, and we talked for hours. I'm like, yes, I'm in there. But whenever I try to plan a date, she would always get real funny, right? She'd always be like, well, we never made a plan. So I said, okay, cool. Now I got to make a plan. Shit, okay, so I made a plan, right? But I didn't really feel the energy that I had expected from her to begin with. So I started doing all this shit, right? So I finally got her on a date. And when I went on the date, I was doing all this shit. I was being chivalrous. I was walking on the side. I was walking on the street side while she was on the sidewalk side. I was opening the car doors to make sure she got in first. And then after that first date didn't go the way how I thought it should have went, and she wasn't really hypnotized by me. I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and do something else. So asked her out on another date. Took her somewhere fancier, and I said, this time I'm gonna do all that, but this time, shit, let me go buy some chocolates, So I went out and I bought some chocolates. I did all that, opened the car door, did all that, still got the same result, right? I didn't know what I really wanted from this chick, right? Went on a third date, and then went out, did all this, I did everything I did before, but this time I said, let me go ahead and buy some flowers. This time let me go ahead and pull up on the curbside, and I did all this shit, right? And shit between me and her didn't work out. But I did all this shit, and when I go back and look at it, I really, didn't know exactly what I wanted. I mean, all dudes want ass. I mean, that's like, obvious, right? But it's like I wanted to put her under a spell almost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I wanted her to be infatuated with me the way how I was infatuated with her. You know what I mean? So let's look at a player example from my life, because for a little bit in my life I was a player, you know what I'm saying, or I have some player experiences. So let me go ahead and touch on that right quick, right? Let me give you an example from my player life, right? So you guys might not be aware, but I used to I used to read these books, right? I used to read Mystery Method, and I read like The Game, I read The Artist of I read all that shit, you know what I'm saying? And let's focus on Mystery Method, all right? So I read Mystery Method, and I studied it, I implemented it, and when you get the book Mystery Method, right, it tells you what the objective is on the title, right? It's how to get beautiful women in bed, right? Or something like that, right? Or it's how to get beautiful women to sleep with you, So In other words, it's how to smash, beautiful win. You know what I'm saying? So I got the book, I read it, I studied it, I did all the exercises or whatever. Like they'll have you, like, you have to, be able to recognize indicators of interest, and then you have to have your pre-scripted value demonstrations ready to go in the can, and at the end of the day, it works. Like you can sleep with women after you read that book. You know what I'm saying? But it works. But it takes a lot of work. Matter of fact, it takes too much work, which is why I was like, man, I'm done with that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, as you saw before, like with me being in my player role, I knew what I wanted per the book or from what the book said, and I did a series of steps, a long series of steps, and I got asked. You know what I'm saying? But when I was in my simp phase and I just wanted a chick to fall in love with me the way I was infatuated with her, you saw the result that I got. All right. So here's why being either is pointless, in my opinion. Okay. So being either is pointless because the woman has already chosen. Isn't that some shit? The woman has already chosen. Before you even walk up to the chick, she already knows if she's gonna deal with you or not. You know what I'm saying? She already knows if she's gonna deal with you. All right. So I'm a fan of quotes, right? And I like to take quotes and learn from them, study from them, and then I like to combine and add on to my own shit, right? So I have this quote that I kind of like live by, right? Like this is my golden nugget, right? So this is like my secret sauce to life, right? You can apply this to like almost anything, all right? And the secret sauce is this, right? Or the golden nugget that I'm gonna drop is this, okay? It's there are 1,001 ways to make a chick lose interest in you. But when a chick is not interested in you, there's nothing you can do to make her interested in you. Let that sink in, right? You can apply that shit to anything, right? Like other people, groups, right? At the end of the day, people fuck with who they fuck with. Good or bad, they fuck with who they fuck with. And if they don't fuck with you like that, then there's nothing you can do to make them want to fuck with you. All right. Now, I'm not saying that they never will fuck with you or never will show favor in you, but at the end of the day, it's like you have no control over that, right? And once you get that, life is so much easier. All right. So to recap, the differences between the two, right? A simp and a player is basically think of a simp as a blind troubleshooter who wants the chick to be infatuated with him the same way that he's infatuated with her. And think of a player as an advanced troubleshooter that knows exactly what he wants to get from a chick and he executes and gets that. All right. Where in either case, both really didn't need to even do all that because the chick already chose him. All right. Or the chick already chose or didn't choose him. All right. So hopefully this video helped you out. Comment, like, subscribe. Get at me later. I'm out. Peace.